And I remember to turn my uh, microphone software on again. I turned most of the fans off on in my room at least. Um, there's just the dehumidifier going. To be honest, all the stuff is dry. It's just that they told me to keep the fans on until Monday, so um, I'll probably pop them back on when quit the stream. But you can see the background's still a mess because I can't put anything in my closet because the people still need to come to do the drywall. You can even see the stains in the back there on the wall, on the ceiling. That's how close it was to dripping on my bed. It didn't actually drip too much from those spots, but the closet was just a rainforest. So, um, but yeah, I've got some stuff that I've been wanting to work on, and I got a little distracted with all this stuff happening. Um, but the first thing I want to do is I want to finalize. Well, finalize is a wishy-washy term. I just want to package and push the update for Easteria. Um, that doesn't take too much, and to be honest, there's not much to show, so I'm probably gonna keep it on me for most of the time, because it's all just like little command prompt stuff, and it doesn't take too long, anyways. But then after that, the main thing that I want to work on is the um, in the RPG Adventure Organizer. Um, I realized that it's very necessary for characters to have a variable like in their actual data structure for how much money they have. That will make my life so much easier. Because right now I have it where it's an item, but the problem is that I have to change the number on it manually um, by like going in and editing the description. Which obviously there's probably better ways to do that even with the structure that I have right now, but that's what I had to do on the fly when I was trying to work with it in the campaign. Which the next campaign is like I I have the general idea of what it's going to be. I just haven't gotten around and worked out the details. But this has been something on my mind that I won't be able to do the next campaign until I finish implementing the gold as a built-in feature. So that's the two things. Hopefully, I can get them both done today. But at least I'll put Easteria out for anybody that wants to see it with the new artwork. And before I even do that, I'm gonna check it out and make sure there's not any weird issues. I guess I could do some blending, but I might wait until there's a little bit more to do. I think it still is like a decent improvement the way it is. So let's go do a run through. I'll point out what has changed in Easteria, um, which has been mainly visual. Um, but I still am pretty happy with how it's come around. I think I did a few little things here and there, cleaning stuff up. Um, but I have so one of the philosophies that I've had with Easteria for the longest time is that I wanted it to be something where if I had an idea, I would put uh, all of those ideas in Easteria. Like it was just gonna be creature. I always say creature feet instead of feature creep, just because I get mixed up on it. It's just gonna be like embrace the feature creep, and whatever I feel like throwing in there, I'll put. And I still might do that, but I think the thing is that I have some ideas that are good enough to stand alone. And I want to explore that avenue in a way that won't be so saturated. I think that they'd be better standing out, and then maybe if I have those structures separated, then I'll be able to implement it into Easteria a little bit easier because I can just take some of that code in chunks. Um, but there's another part of me that wants to kind of take those from scratch, not like from scratch, but throwing out a lot of the mechanisms that I've used in Easteria because if I try to just directly copy and paste the objects and stuff that I've built in Easteria, then what's going to happen is that um, there's a lot of features that aren't needed for the new whatever I'm building. And so that's going to be a lot more confusion than is needed, um, because then I'll have to um, keep track of I'll have to create a bunch of dummy variables and random stuff like that, and it's really not worth my time. So I could make it a lot cleaner. I could make it run optimized for that specific feature, and that would make it a little bit better of a game. So it's something I might do for a game jam if I see one where the theme fits and whatnot. But if not, then I might just do them all together because I do have a few ideas. So what's new in Easteria? The biggest thing to notice is that there's grass texture now. That's the big thing that I've been working on, and it stops here because I'm a maniac and I'm drawing it pixel by pixel. And that may sound like a lot, but really I'm just kind of randomly putting dots and texturing it. And I think it really adds something to it. If I was just copy and pasting, obviously I could copy and paste on as big a scale as I want to get a little bit higher fidelity, but the thing is I want to see these transitions and still have that nice clean texturing. So there's little things like between chunks, I don't necessarily have it matching up because I draw this 1000 by 1000 square separate from this 1000 by 1000 square. I did a good job cleaning this one up, but you can still see it if you're looking for it. That's one thing that I've noticed. But I know where the lines are to begin with, so I think that gives me an advantage of finding the lines themselves. But yeah, so you can see over here, this is where it ends. You can also see that the trees are slightly less textured than the ones over here. That's another thing that I changed. The trees were pretty simple texturing. I just wanted to give them a little bit more dimension, and it also does a better job of emphasizing the tree that shouldn't be there, which is this one over here. So this one doesn't have the texturing because it's fake, because it's not actually a tree. You can see there's an abnormally large trunk or whatever, and then if you go down here, you can walk in and it's a building. So it's subtle, but I like the subtlety of it, because it just doesn't stand out as much, but because of that it stands out, and I like that. Definitely these transitions are a little bit worse just because the pixels are a little more spread out, and like right here you can really see that line. But it's one of those things, is like if people are looking for it, they'll find it. I can clean it up more later. I think the idea of adding some texture in to just give people an idea of the direction I'm going in would be nice, and so that's what I'm going to do. I still need to texture the lake down here because all this grass like sloping is part of the actual picture for the lake. So I think that I might do that in the near future, but for now it doesn't look bad. I think it's supposed to stand out. It's a land feature. I could make the cows a little bit prettier, but I think animated things are probably gonna have to stay kind of simple just because they take so long to make, and I don't want to set a precedent for that before I add a bunch more things. Like I want to add a bunch more animals. I'm definitely gonna have more like NPCs, if I could streamline the NPC creation process, that would probably make my life a lot easier. But I honestly haven't worked with trying to make any conversations in a while, so I'm not sure how bad that would be. But yeah, so I don't think there's anything that's blaringly wrong with where it's at right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to package it as an exe file, and upload that to what's it called? Itch.io, or itch.io. So that's the plan for right now. And like I said, after that, I'm going to go into the RPG editor, RPG adventure organizer, and work a little bit on that in order to implement gold, which I don't think that will take too long, but there's a lot of spider webbing with the different functions, and I'll have to create a menu for the actual gold manipulation, which should be very similar to. It actually should be really similar to like the buffs, so I can copy a lot of that menuing and just adjust it. Um, but don't tell any programmers that I copy and paste stuff. But yeah, so that's the plan, and I'll get into it. If anyone is watching this, which I don't think anybody's watching to hear this actual statement, if you have any questions, and I literally mean any questions, doesn't have to be pertaining to anything that you're seeing on the screen, feel free to ask them. I enjoy any type of discussion during this stuff. I think it's fun. But I'm probably going to post some stuff on my social media stories, and we'll get this thing going. Get that Instagram as well. Also, I made a Tic Tac. That's a terrible I'm old joke. I made a TikTok. I'm not very fond of the platform. I don't. I personally don't like vertical video, but I understand that it works for the platform because it's usually people standing up. Um, but it is. There are a few things that it's really good at. Which one thing it's great at getting your video out there. If you just have a stupid 15-minute video, 15-second video, um, and it can shotgun it to a large audience very fast, and also catch a lot of attention and momentum in terms of like sharing and reposting kind of stuff like that. And the other thing is it's great for short, like dense content, which is something that I have a few videos that I've done on YouTube. They didn't really they did fine in terms of my normal view count on YouTube, but I feel like those are the videos that are really like shareable, and they're not necessarily something that I feel like I need to hold in terms of an intellectual property thing. I would like to, but I'm not saying that if people like take them and do with them what they want, um, as I'm fine with that as long as it's giving some kickback of attention to my channels and stuff. So I figured that might be a good idea to expand my branding, I suppose. Um, but then, but yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna fall into the lifestyle of it. I definitely hate the the like blogging concept of most stuff, where people will make something look one way, but when you like video them from a different angle holding their phone, they just look stupid. Um, yeah, I don't know, but um, I think that I've been too critical of it in the past, and so now I'm just giving it a shot. And me taking this picture is probably hypocritical of the sentence I just said. So. This one there. Realized I usually put the link on it when I post it to Snapchat, but I did not do that. So what are you looking at? You're looking at Easteria right now. We got a viewer in the chat, but I do not know who that is. I guess I'll throw it. I don't really know. I'll throw it on the webcam or something. But what I said, I'm just doing some stuff in the command prompt to package this. Copy. For those of you who don't know, if you're writing a program in Python, obviously Python is an interpreted language, and I say obviously. Let me explain that in more detail, because many people probably don't know much about programming. There are two major types of programming languages. There are the compiled languages, which were the original languages that were made original. There was some stuff that preceded it, but compiling it essentially is a process where you take a program, which is basically a set of instructions on how to build a program. Right, so you're writing down all the code. The code is the instructions to the computer to say, I want you to do this when this happens, that kind of stuff. And then, but that that by itself in a compiled language like maybe C or Java, I believe Java is compiled. Don't quote me on that. But C is definitely compiled. In a compiled language, you take that kind of stuff and then you compile it, which is a process where you make it into a usable program. So the program doesn't need to interpret these instructions every single time. It just already knows what to do because it has everything built in. So then once you have the program compiled, it'll be an application, like something you would double click on your desktop. You can just run it. You don't need the original code. You can hand it to somebody, and as long as they have a computer with the right operating system, then it will run just fine. Specifically, exe files that come from C code only work on Windows unless you have some sort of emulator to work it in on a Mac. I believe. I think Linux wouldn't have any trouble with it. You just have to be aware that you're running an exe file or something. But then if you have the other type of coding language is an interpreted language. So an interpreted language, essentially, what it does is um, it never the basis of interpreted languages is that we're going to assume that whatever computer is running this interpreted program has its own translator. So, like I'm writing it in this language, and I don't know necessarily what each individual computer is going to need to do in order to do what I told it to, right? So, like, I want it to um, open a file. I don't know. Then the process of opening a file might be different on different computers. So what is needed is that you have uh, a middleman kind of system, which is the interpreter, and that has to be on each individual computer that's trying to run this. But the benefit of this is that if you have a system that's running, you're writing in Python, right, which is an interpreted program. I can write a program on a Windows computer, and I can hand it to somebody who has a Mac, and that's not a problem. All they need to do is have the interpreter that's associated with the current Mac OS that they're working with. So they both have their benefits. Compiled programs traditionally run a bit faster than interpreted programs. But what I can do, and what anybody can do, is if you have a Python program, you can actually compile the Python program, and it's a little bit different from your normal compiling. There's a process where you can convert a Python program into an executable, which is an exe file or an application. And what that does, it doesn't necessarily bring with it the speed of normal compilation. It may. I haven't looked into it, but I can't confirm whether or not it actually increases the speed to do so. But what it does is it makes it so that if you have a Windows computer, you don't need the interpreter, which is something that's nice for a lot of programs. It also hides your code a little bit because it puts it into an executable, which isn't just it isn't actually the code. It's directions to the computer. So that makes it nice in a few sense if you're trying to protect your code from plagiarism, I suppose. I don't necessarily care about that too much, but the code itself for Easteria is so messy. It's 15,000 lines of just a hurricane of different code setup. So I don't need to necessarily be projecting that to society. This is going to be 3.2. This is land of Easteria, or I don't know. This is a description. Top down adventure game. But for those who may be interested in the process of creating an executable from a Python file, it is there's a module you can download called CXFreeze, and if you use CXFreeze, you have to build the program in the command prompt. But that is it's very simple. It's just one command once you're in the right directory. And so it might be a nice opportunity for you to learn a few things about accessing a computer through a command prompt. It's very empowering. Makes you feel like you're a true programmer. Okay, so I know you can't see this because I have it on my face, but I'm essentially, you have to make a little program that's a setup program, and then it reads that, and the setup program basically just says, this is the name, this is the version number, all this hoopla. And also this is the file you need to look at, kind of stuff. And you always have to remember to save after you edit that, because I always will leave it open unsaved, and then it will be like, what program did you want me to do? That doesn't make any sense. Let me get this. Properties. Command prompt. CD. Build. Am I not in the right folder? This doesn't usually happen. Not giving me the right directory. Search results from what the hell? CD Python 35. Okay, so there we go. It wasn't in the right folder. Now we're building. Someone liked my Tic Tac. Oh, we are done building. Okay, so when it builds, it puts it in a little folder called build in whatever folder you're working in. You have to have it in your like actual folder that has all of the modules. So it's a little annoying because I have to copy my file over to that folder, and then once it's an exe file, it doesn't need all that stuff. So I can bring that exe file back to it. It just needs to have all the stuff that's in the actual packaged folder that it gives it. So that and then the other thing is it doesn't need all of the artwork to create the folder, but it needs all the artwork to run, because the program is going to look for that. So you need to put it back into your original folder, and then grab all the artwork and put that into oh my god. I keep holding down control and scrolling because I'm wanting to select multiple things. Copy, paste. so what I'm going to do, I'll switch it back to the Easteria view, but this time it'll be running from the EXE. I'm hoping that Streamlabs will just grab it the same way, but I might have to adjust it. And we'll just do a quick pass through and make sure that all the stuff is still working. Ooh. Why did it... What? Put the adventure organizer in there. I hope that didn't do anything weird. Alright. Oh, damn it, I pressed paint. I'm a mess right now. Let's go to Easteria. Yeah, I just found it normally. Okay, so everything's running. Let's go just make sure the artwork's there. I don't know how it wouldn't be because I didn't give it the old artwork, but, you know, sanity. It does kind of seem like it runs faster in the EXE. That's just my immediate thought. It may be because there's not any debug processes running in the background. I mean, you can still see, like, there's a little bit of choppiness, but that's just because I have so much going on, and none of it's visible, and people download the game, and they're like, oh, what is this garbage? So I wanted to make it prettier. So yeah, the game's working. I don't need to post it right now. Nah, I should, or else I won't do it until like a couple more days. Webcam. Okay, so I'm gonna go post that online. If you haven't downloaded Easteria and you have a Windows computer running Windows 64-bit or Windows 10, I believe it has to be Windows 10 just because that's how I'm currently downloading. I'm currently creating the exe files for. If you have that, then you can play Easteria by going to jonoexplainsthings.itch.io/Easteria. And it's completely free, unless you want to pay me. You don't have to. But if you go there, you can check it out. You can see all the previous builds that I've made. And you can have fun with them. There's a lot of weird glitches that were happening way back when. There's still weird glitches. I just ignore them now. Oh, I didn't make it into a zip folder. And I didn't rename it. So this is Easteria version 1.3.2. Version control basically is just that 1 means it's not Easteria 2.0 or whatever. It's not a second version of the game, even though it technically is, but I call the first one the 0th, I guess, because it wasn't necessarily Easteria. This was always marketed as Easteria. And then the second number is major updates, and the third number is minor updates. And since this is just a aesthetic update, I'm considering it a minor update on top of the major one. I don't remember what the last major one would be. It probably is the dating simulator, but I'm not sure. Um, and I need to make that into a zip folder. Send to compressed zip. These zip files are getting pretty chunky though, because I make everything in PNG pictures, which I don't know if that slows down anything, but I assume it makes the quality better. I don't know. I'm not too good at optimizing. I'm good at hitting stuff with a hammer until it works, but um, finding the right tool for the job isn't usually my forte. Go to Python folder. No, I need the zip file. Open. Wonderful. Save view page. I need to go add a devlog. Easteria version 1.3.2. Grass for days. General update. Don't know how to spell aesthetic. There's an H in there for those who don't know. Finally published the aesthetic update. I have been working on spec next update to include some new story content, but given my current page yeah, it's up to 30 megabytes for the game. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so the update is live. I'll put that in the chat for anybody who wants to check it out. And then, since that's up, actually, I'll share that to Facebook as well while I'm at it. And then I'll move on to the adventure organizer. That's a weird graphic it took. It says a 404 error for the graphic, and then if you click on it, it actually goes to the page. That's beautiful. I love it. Okay, so that's good to go. We're still live. Still got a person in the chat, but I don't think they're talking. Is their name Lurks? Are they lurking? That seems in character. But yeah, let me pull up. I'll pull up the actual adventure organizer, and then I'll switch the screen over. So, because we'll have to make sure that it's. I'm not sure what I need to show on the screen yet. So, where is it? I don't know why I closed out of that folder for Easteria. I could have just gone over to the tax folder. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up. I'm getting hot. I have a fan literally right next to me. It's not pointed at me, but it's. It was normally back in that corner, so it could point at my body while I sleep. But then we had to relocate it for pointing at wet carpet. So let me just go to game dev. We got Python up on the screen. So you can see what I'm scrolling through, and that will make life a little bit more fun. I'll just make my face bigger and put it up in the corner. I guess I'll try and only have like one file open at a time. Or if there's one that doesn't really have what I'm normally looking at, I'll just have the important one visible. Okay, so basic structure, we have the campaign. Within the campaign, you have environments. Within environments, you have, I think the next one's probably party, which, there's entities and NPCs. Entity, party. So the party is part of a campaign, but the parties are also used within environments, and they're full of NPCs in that case. The character is what we are looking at. So the character, I want it to have a stat for how much money it has, because that's important. So in the variable definition, we're just going to have self dot gold equals 0, or none, I suppose. And then that will be populated from the character sheets. And because of the way that I made the character sheets, which was with foresight in mind, I assumed that I would need to add things, so it doesn't look for specific places in the character sheet. It looks for tags, and then those tags are next to the lines that are important. So it just searches the character sheet, which means that technically the character sheet could be completely out of order. It would still work, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And then it also means that I can add stuff wherever I want to make it aesthetically pleasing, and it should still work. So we now have a gold. We're just gonna chuck. We're going to move through this program line by line and see what needs to be updated. But it's probably smarter to start on the actual character creation page, because that will create the character sheet, and if character sheets can be properly updated, then that will allow us to test things, so that should be done first. So um, I'll save this, but I can't actually run it. Let's go to the character creator, and we'll see if it actually shows up in Streamlabs. It does. Okay. I think that looks a little bit better, even though it doesn't change anything, because it's all on this side, because that's how I set up the programs. So we have a new character. New character is going to have self dot gold equals 20. That's just how everybody's going to start. That's the precedent I've been setting. So I don't need to have it in stats or anything. It's going to be standalone because it'll have its own menu. Because if I did stats, then it would mess everything else up. So don't need any of this. None of that needs to change. But printing it does. So let me pull up a character sheet just to feel out where I want things to go. Does that show up on Notepad? I could make Notepad visible. Hey, okay. I'm just gonna do it there. Okay, so this is a generic character sheet. So this is for test character, who is a Doofy and Light Knight. That's just the first option for both of them. 100 everything in terms of description, and then we got the stats. So there's a few things that are to be desired with the character sheet, because the character sheets currently don't tell us totals. They tell us, or they don't have a running total. They have each individual stat. They don't have them added up, and they also have the buffs and debuffs separated, so you have to do the math every time, which the organizer does the math for you. But it may be nice. I could probably add that while I'm at it. Because I wouldn't have to change anything in the code, it would just be a presentation thing. So if we got race info, class info, character sheet, format. So what I need to do is I need to create an array that is the actual total of everything currently. And I know this is already getting sidetracked, but I think it would be a benefit. Okay, so I need to it doesn't call this one. This is the one I need to update. I may be able to call. Does it print it at the end of the call? Maybe I could do that. So let me. Go get that program. This is the DM comms for Dungeon Master commands. I am complete. Fuck. Yes, you are fucked. Shit out of luck. Wait, you motherfucker. We challenge you to a rock out. Give us one chance to rock your socks off. Fuck. The demon code prevents me from declining a rock off challenge. What are your terms? What's the catch? So this is the section that I believe I might be able to use. Yeah, so if you have get total, then you can, it'll take the stats, it'll create an array that is all of the it'll create an array that is the current running total of the stats. And I think that's a good idea to just use this. So if I have, so this is get total, I'm gonna need entity to equal none. Character, we already have that because it has it built in the system. Yeah, it should work. So let me go get that back open. That means that I'll have to import it. How do I have that in DMCon? I'm gonna goggle mayonnaise lest we bust a massive monster mama jam. With my dick, now it's time to blow this fucker down. What? Not at the stage, yeah, it's time for a showdown. Bring you over, then we'll take it around town. Now, copy. I'm copying. Alright, whatever. Copy. Paste. Was that so hard? Okay, so now I have that imported. Which is weird because it's a big circle of things, but it's really not a circle. It's fine. It's like an intersection. But what that means is in the print function, in here, I can go like this. You can see this, right? Yeah. So this is going to be current stats. And what this will do is we'll have to do temp tots equal to DMC dot get total character none. I think I can actually just do that because it's entity equals none in the definition, is it? Do I have it still open? Def get character entity. No, I need to put none there. It wouldn't hurt anything to do it anyways. I don't know why I don't just do it. So this is gonna be temp tots. I'm only calling it temp tots because that's a cute name. So what that's going to do is it's going to create this section that's called current stats. I'm not actually reading it at any point in time in the program. It's just for a visual thing within the character sheet. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to add we'll do another line. We're gonna do gold. And then we need file right line like this. And this is gonna be character gold. Right, because we made that how it goes in the character definition up here, self.gold. So if I go F5, enter, and then I can go, oh, can you see this? Python shell, where is it at? I'm gonna make notepad. I'll make it visible over to the side, kind of like that. It's probably gonna look weird, but that means I can scroll through notepad on the edge there. So in the shell, I've ran it. What that means is I can go main Create test character. Yes. 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 100. Yes. 100. Yes. 100. Yes. 100. Yes. 100. Yes. Yes. So now, I should be able to open the character sheet again. And now you can see that there is gold, current stats. So you can see gold's 20. Current stats is the added of all the stats together, including the buffs and everything that is currently being worn as an item. And what that makes it makes it so that I can just pull up the character sheet, and I don't have to keep loading it in the. I don't have to keep. Actually, I can even just look at it in the preview window within the file browser, and that makes my life a lot easier um, to keep those running totals. Um, so I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. But then we'll start working on the functionality of the gold feature, which shouldn't take all that long. But that's the plan. I'll fill my water while I'm out there. Oh, I wanted to mention I did actually finish writing the song that I've been working on. I know how it goes. I need to record it. But in order to do that, I need some goddamn peace and quiet. And that's not going to happen until I take these big ass machines out of here. But when that happens, which will probably be tomorrow, I believe, then I'll be able to record that. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done soon. I'm gonna take some time on it because I want to make it something I'm proud of. But it is at least to the point where I can record it whenever I have the opportunity. So that's nice to know. Okay, so this formatting I like. It emphasizes the gold a little bit. It makes the current stats very available to me. But I'm gonna have to think about how to convert character sheets that I already have. Actually, the easiest way to do that would just be to verbatim copy and paste this chunk into each of the character sheets and then adjust the gold number for those particular characters. So that should be pretty easy to do. And then I can because this isn't something that's actually read for any of the actual code. It's just a visual thing for me. And then the gold is red, but that's one number, so I can adjust that later. But what that'll do is it'll make it so that the character sheets are updated. So now I need to work on gold formatting, and then I'll worry about testing that, because I can test it in the test character, and then that will prove to me that it works for the other ones. All right, so let me grab. We're gonna start in. What are we gonna start in? I guess we'll start in the adventure organizer. I don't know that there's too much to actually do in the adventure organizer. But we'll start at the top level and then work our way down. The only ones that I can imagine, it should just be adventure organizer and DM comms, right? Because there's no other item creator, move creator, environment creator, entity creator. No, none of that. None of that's gonna have any important stuff or anything to do with gold. It will just be the DM comms, because the DM comms will allow me to actually manipulate gold on the fly. So this should be full screen. You can see that. You cannot. So I see that it grabbed the shell instead of the adventure organizer. Done. Why is that so big? Yeah. Transform. Yeah. Okay. Now we're good. So I'm glad I checked that you could see that. We're going through here. The first part that is going to be important is in well, it's going to be in the menuing, and it should be in the menuing for, no, actually, the menuing that will be important will be all the DM comes, so I don't think that's going to be in here. In party, we're going to have add. So add comes through, I believe it calls import, right? Import. So I don't have to do anything to add. Show just shows the party, so that's fine. Remove. So import is, but that's within the actual character itself. So even within party, that's not a problem. And import is here. So all I have to do is go here. Gold, get info, gold. So that should grab gold as the info. Import inventory, import equipped, import list, equipped, unequipped, take item. Consume item, give, add move, get move. Now I'm gonna do gold in the DM com side because I'll treat it like a stat. So I don't have to do it here. I could have done all this in the DM com as well, but this seemed reasonable to have as something that a character can do specifically. And that also removes the slight possibility that it would accidentally do it for entities if I miscoded something. So I don't need to do anything in items, moves, get race, no, get class, get info, file, go to, check item, import next, no. All this is the main. So we got load campaign. The party in here, all that's gonna be fine. And then, yeah, okay, so we're done with the adventure organizer. Let me pull up the other one before I move on to the next, before I exit out of the adventure organizer, so that it hopefully grabs that one. So what I need to do is open the DM comms. Did it grab it? It did. Awesome. Oh, I forgot I need to change these dates. 6. It's been almost 2 months since I have made any changes to this, which is a little bit sad. I think I should do. It should be 1.1 instead of 1.02. Control S, because they won't be backwards compatible. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to see DM comms, right? Okay. So what I was saying is it's just a version tracking thing. I had this as 1.0.2 because it was a new update, but technically this isn't backwards compatible. Actually, DM comms should be. I don't know. I'm gonna fight myself over this. Adventure Organizer won't be. DM comms will be. So I'd say DM comms is fine like that. All the version control is just gonna be done. Was it grab? No, it stays with that one. Okay. So Adventure Organizer is gonna be 120 to 1.0. I didn't update the date. Okay. Now that I'm done with that, check comms. So inventory, moves, help, buffs. We want one of these. Oh, yeah, actually. Just all of it. All of it. That. Even more. Copy all of it. Okay, so this is gonna be our money one. So we'll do money, money, gold, gold. I'll put another one for like wallet or something. And then if I think of anything else to call it along the lines, along the way, I'll do that. So this is going to be gold comms. That's what I'm going to call it. It'll get a character. All that's the same. It'll go to character if it needs to. If it doesn't, then it will just skip to this part where it already knows it. And gold comms is something that I'm going to have to adjust. So it's not a very linear program because all of the actual menuing is at the bottom. So I'll go to the menuing first. Actually, we're gonna grab the whole buffs section, and we're going to work from that. This is going to be gold. This is going to be gold comms. Gold comms. Menu for editing character and character gold. Okay, so now we're gonna have to Control H is replace. We're gonna go buff with gold. I'm not gonna use all these lines, but I think it's important to keep track of that pretty well. If I do copy any of them, I don't want it to be wrong. I said golf. Control H. Not golf. Not God. I'm tempted to do replace all, but just on the off chance that there's some weird word that has golf as an overlapping, a wraparound word within it. Okay, we're good. I could have done replace all, but it doesn't take that long. Okay, so first off, action's good, show is good, but we don't want stat. Yeah, I think it'd be better to just have its own function. So print gold. So that means that I need to go create print gold. Gold comms shouldn't have entity because it won't need it. My head. Random part of my head started hurting. So let's go make print gold. Let me find Control H def print stat. Find. So I'm gonna copy this, but we're gonna strip it down a lot. All these item weight move, put it at the bottom here. Print gold. Character. We want the character. Actually, well, yeah, I'll still do it in here. So you don't need all this. Print stat sections, down not found, whatever. All we're gonna do is put some lines, and then we're gonna print. We'll do glod gold. Is equal to, this is gonna be car dot gold. So it's gonna print the gold. That's it. So that's good. Okay, print gold is good. Add. Don't need get stat. But we do need change gold. Character, add, stat, no. Character and add. So change gold, we don't need stat. Mode is not 0. Yeah, so this is the nice side of me copying things, because what it will, I just need to make sure I'm thorough about it. because I already have the contingency plans in here. I just need to make sure that I adjust all the naming of things to new stuff. Yes, this is the one I want to change. So what this does is if it asks for a number, it asks for a number, and if you give it some random thing and that causes an error, then it just calls itself again. So that it essentially just asks for a number again. So then if we're in add, which is the current one we're working on, but I'll just work on all of them anyways. Don't need all this. We can go here, character, gold, plus amount in. For sub, character, gold. For set, character, gold. And then for 0, gold. So that's simple enough. Everything is accounted for, or at least it's as accounted for as it is in the buff section. So then we need to just adjust things here. So I don't need to get a stat, we're just adjusting the gold. And the help menu should be fine. I do need to adjust the help menu up top. Valid action, update character sheet, all that's good and proper. And then change gold should be good to go. Yeah, okay. So I think that's actually everything. But now I have buffs, and we're gonna have we'll call it wallet in the help menu. Another thing this could be called is like coins. Coin. Coins. So saving that. I think I've done it, because I don't. There's no other programs that this is involved with. But what we'll do is we'll bug test it a bit. So let me grab the adventure organizer. I don't have that open. Edit with IDLE. Okay, so if I that's from the character creator. Yeah, I figured that would happen. Okay. Okay, adventure organizers in both of them. 5. Alright, we're getting errors, but I want to make sure this is visible on the screen. Properties. Shell done. Okay, so you can see there's an error. So this error print buffs. So that's within DM comms. I guess I am missing some stuff. Maybe I deleted it on accident. So within DM comms, where is that? That's line 130. Oh. It's the help menu. You guys probably saw that if you're watching, because I copied and pasted some stuff and then I didn't add the new quotation mark as a parenthesis. Not saved. I'll run this again. Load campaign. That's good. This is visible, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna load test campaign. Ooh, it will probably give me an error trying to load test NPC. Oh, I do that too much. I need to hit yes, and then test campaign. So, error, it's giving me an error loading self NPCs.add, yeah, so that's exactly what I said. Because I don't have so let me test this on the NPC. I'm gonna open, do I already have that open? I already have that open, I don't need it open. Oh, I closed the wrong one. Okay. You can see that. I'm gonna grab from here to here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paste that into the NPC. Ooh, no. I want that there. Oh god. Okay. So that's not necessarily correct. Other than like the gold's fine. It's just one number. The current stats aren't going to be necessarily correct when I paste it in, but they should update the minute that the character sheet is updated. So actually, let me exit out test character. We're gonna throw this one over here, and you can see that. Yes. Okay, so you can see this is test NPC. So 5, yes, test campaign, character not found. Which character is not found? Oh, maybe. try that again to see if it does it again, because I think it updated the character sheet and now it doesn't have whatever character it was trying to find. Test campaign. Yeah, okay, so it updated the character sheet. I'm not sure what character it was trying to find, but obviously it got rid of it. Okay, so now I should be able to go DMC party DMC DM commands. So now I can go gold character, test character. Gold takes 2 positional arguments but was given 3, so that's good to know. I don't need. I guess I do need the adventure organizer open, but I can. That's gonna mess things up. Whatever. I'll go to the webcam for a second. Don't know why I exited out of the file browser. I'll have to make the shell visible again in a second. But yeah, so I have DM commands. What I need to do is make sure that when I go here, gold comms is getting 3, and then down in gold comms down here, gold comms takes 2. Why is it like that? Buff comms goes group character entity. I grabbed this from inventory. Inventory needs campaign. Gold comps doesn't. Inventory needs campaign because there's a possibility that you would be giving something to an NPC in the environment, and so that's important. Okay, so that is how it is. I'm gonna leave it so that you can see DMC, but I'm gonna open Adventure Organizer as me ideally. Then we're gonna go F5 on that. Put that over here, but now I want to be able to see the Python shell, which I apparently need to. Can I go webcam and back? Nah. Okay. We're good to go on that. Load campaign, yes. Test campaign. Menu. I'm just gonna do test character. Gold. Action. Show. Print goal is not defined. Okay. This is what bug testing is for. Control H, def, print G, find. Print gold is defined. What is it saying is wrong? Oh, I didn't capitalize it. I'm dumb. Because capitalization matters in coding. Save that. Yes, test campaign. Main menu, test character. Money. Show. Int has no attribute gold. What? Why is it an integer? What is it passing it? Okay, so here. Oh, this is eventual again. Print gold is being passed character. Just check for sanity's sake here. I'm passing a character dot gold, so that's the problem. That's the wrong one. Yes, test campaign. Test character. Gold. A coin. I need a coin. Show. It did it. Entity is going to be none no matter what. So within the function, not in the eventual organizer, here, entity is always going to be none. But that's promising because that's the last line in the command, so it should work now. Test campaign. Test character. DM commands. Gold. Showed it. Okay. Okay, so if I'm correct about this, so you'll see on the notepad, which you can still see, these numbers are wrong. Total health is 10 plus 3. It should be 13. And then just for sanity's sake, attack is 11 plus 5. It should be. Oh, no. It should be 5 plus 1. Yeah. It should be 6. And instead it's 11. So this should change to 13. This should change to 6. And the way that I can do that is I can pull the. I just need to do something with the NPC. So environment, edit, environment, here, help, NPC, DM commands. So now I can go gold, test, NPC. I could have done that at any point in time, actually. Show. So now that I did that, if I exit out of here, and then I open it back up from the characters, you can see, total health is actually 14, and 7. Oh, it has equipment on. There you go. What is the stats on test equipment? Oh, I guess he has a 1 to everything. So everything up here is 1 off of what I would say. It should be 1 higher than what I said it was going to be. Which is true. It's just inconvenient that 14 is also what it already was, but this one with the 7, so that one's correct. And you can do the math here. So now it's magic is 5 plus 7's I give you 12, and then plus 1 is 13. So this is 13. So that works. I just need to go through and update all of the characters in the other campaign, in the actual campaign. So I'll do that off stream. It's not going to be. I can leave the stream on. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just probably going to switch it to webcam. So if you got any questions to ask. If you're watching this on YouTube later, I'm gonna post this to YouTube. But if you have watched this on YouTube and you have questions or random questions that you want to chat with me about, post them in the comments. And if you actually watched an hour and 50 minutes of me rambling while coding, I'll either answer you there, or if it's something worth my time, I'll answer it in a video. Not that a simple question wouldn't be worth my time, but if it's worth putting more time into explaining, then I'll give it its due diligence. So what am I doing? I need to exit out of everything. Everything's updated. Which actually, the nice thing about this is I pushed an update for Easteria, and then that means I'll also be able to push an update for the Adventure Organizer. So that's a nice icing on the cake. So I need to give the new character creator and DM comms to my folder that has the actual campaign in it. Place these. Now they're up to date. And what I just need to do is go through piece by piece and convert the characters to the new format. So let me grab the test character from here and put it in the new folder. There should be a test character in here, yeah. Paste. This will get more and more annoying, and at some point I'd probably make a actual script for adding these in. But for now, it's not too difficult to do it by hand. Didn't delete anything, yeah. Bunch of characters nobody met yet, because I made contingency plans depending on which direction the previous campaign went. It could have gone north or east, and they chose to go east before going north. And also, they didn't do anything in the town too much. But I had stuff in case they did. Wagons. Smart person would have made sure that the first one acted properly before doing it for all of them. But I've done it for all of them, so let's hope it works. So the adventure organizer, yes. Test campaign. Loaded party. So we're just gonna load flipping everyone in here. Party, add, bubbles. Party, add, dag. Party, add, Gerald. Party, add, Gerino. Party, add, Graggle. Party, add, Gretchen. Party, add, Harold. Party, add, Katarina. Party, add, Lith. Party, add, Mac Swaggins. He's already in the party. Oh, no, he joined the party. Okay. Party, add, Salister. party show, everybody. Oh, it's just adding. Apparently, you can add people more than once into a party. I thought I had a contingency for that. I'll check it in a second. That's fine. Um. Alistair. Okay. So now I can go through Astrid Gold Shell. Bubbles. Bubbles. Gold Shell. Dag. Gold Shell. Gerald. Gold Shell. Merino. Gold Shell. Raggle. Gold Show. was loud. Hmm. Oh. What? How is it calling DM commands from here? Still got to get down. In the world right now, just touched down in London town. So it's specifically, can't see it because I don't have it on the screen. It's specifically if test NPC is called. What's different about test NPC? Hey sister, it's really really nice to meet ya. I just met this 5'7" guy who's just my type. Like the way he's speaking, his confidence is peaking. Like his baggy jeans and I don't like what's underneath them. No, I've been to MIA. The county right away. American boy, gonna someday take me to New York. I'd love to see LA. I really want to kick it with you. You'll be my American boy. So that in the actual menuing, you'll be my American boy. Oh, I see. So if I go info, help, race, description, Snugian rogue. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I see why that's happening. That's not a problem. That's just the fact that it's in the environment and also in, yeah, okay. So it's going through both of them. Reluctantly, most sisters don't fuck with me. Cool down, don't like a fool now. Now, thinking, jiggling, chicks soon as you're blinking. Son about this Americana rhyme. Okay, um, could you be my love? Could you be mine? Could you be my love? Could you be mine? Could you be my love? Could you be my American boy? Basically, I don't know if you've heard what my issue was. Um, I was going through, and whenever I put the character test NPC in the party, and that made it so I could go through and edit that character. But I also had that character in the environment in as like part of the environment because it's an NPC. So when I went to edit it, it called from the party, which is one array, and then after I was done, it called the second instance of it, which was in the environment. Um, so I adjusted that to no longer be a thing. Okay. Adventure organizer. Yes, test campaign. So party show test NPC still in there. So if I go test NPC gold show, it doesn't do it twice. So I fixed it. Fished it. So if I go test party, remove test NPC, and now I go test NPC gold show, it still all works. Okay, we're good. Rihanna gold show, Rihanna gold, Rihanna gold show, Valora gold show, party show. I believe that's everybody. So that should mean that if I go to character, then everybody's gonna have the correct stats. And I'm pretty confident about that. But if it isn't there, it should update the first time I do anything with them. And then the problem will solve itself. So that's gonna call it for today. That's 2 hours and 15 minutes of streaming. Thanks to anybody who did pop in on the stream. Feel free to follow if you are interested in watching more random stuff that I stream, because I'm not consistent about what's actually on the menu. But yeah, I'm signing off. I'll post this to YouTube as soon as it downloads. But I'll catch you next time. Maybe Tuesday I'll do some Fortnite or something in the morning.